So a big hello to everyone. I have not done a video on this channel in quite some time, but there's a video today that I must do. Well, first of all, this video is not going to be about the Caribbean. And initially, I was going to write my response in YouTube and also a Facebook page, because it was going to be a response to a certain individual that I respect a great deal here on YouTube, and her partner, her husband. I respect both of them. I've been following them for quite a few years now, even before they were married. Well, the two people I'm referring to is Miss Trudy and Wodemaya. For some of you, I may not have to say anything more. You already know who they are. But if you don't know who they are, Miss Trudy is a YouTuber from the country of Kenya in Africa, and Wodemaya is a YouTuber from the country of Ghana in West Africa. So both of them are from opposite sides of the continent. Now, I've been watching Wodemaya for years. I want to say around the time he did that video where he was in Rwanda and he was sitting in the street eating food, just trying to show how clean the country of Rwanda is. Now, Miss Trudy, how I stumbled into her, I was fascinated by the country of Mozambique. And I saw a picture, and initially I thought it was Miami. It turned out to be that it was actually Maputo, Mozambique. Ironically, Miami's not too far from here, by the way. I'm here in the state with Miami. So I saw the video, and I saw her, and she was doing the video. But in the video, there was someone with her, and I happened to notice it was Wodemaya. At the time, I didn't think anything. I thought they were just YouTubers just traveling, seeing places and everything like that, which I thought was really fascinating. Well, to make a long story short, I was at the time I was watching both of them. I was like, wow, just watching them rise, meteoric rise, I should say. So Wodemaya was the one that was kind of going up. I saw Trudy coming, and I was like, wow, two young people from Africa doing pretty well on the YouTube circuit. This is really nice. So then eventually they got married. It didn't surprise me that they got married. I was, kind of expecting it, or something to pop off between them. So they eventually got married. From the day they got married, I started saying to myself, they're getting married. They're getting married off of the vibe from getting, YouTubers meeting up. And I guess they had some kind of chemistry. I don't know anything about their personal life and their dating life or whatever at the time before they got married. But when I saw it, I said, okay, they're getting married. Then a thought hit me, and I said, you know what? They're getting kind of famous, Well, Wodemaya already had his name out there. I think at the time he had like 1 million followers or something like that. Is that correct? 1 million followers? I forgot what it was, but it was something like that. So I said, okay, great. He has all these followers. And when they got married, I said, you know what? They're in the spotlight now. Both of them are in the spotlight. And now they're in the spotlight. And because their lives are, in some ways, lived out on YouTube, or people can see what's going on with certain things, people are going to start really looking in with a fine-tooth comb and looking at every move. And the naysayers are going to come. The critics are going to come. Those who are envious are going to come and start gnawing away at their credibility, at their reputation, or at least one of their reputation as opposed to the other, or whatever. And sure enough, no sooner than I thought about that stuff, back when they got married, we're here now. Where Miss Trudy is on YouTube having to do a video about her and Wodemaya divorcing. Or at least that's the way the title of her video was presented. Well, when I saw that, I thought to myself, and I said, this poor young lady. It's just part of part of it. Just comes to the territory. You're going to have your critics. You're going to have people out there saying a lot of things about you and everything. Wodemaya, same exact thing. But part of the reason why I want to do this video is because I want to share my own experience. I am nowhere near as famous as they are. You know, people don't know me from Adam. But I have a story to tell. And Miss Trudy, if you're listening in, Wodemaya, if you're listening in, because I'm going to try to see if I can direct this video to you guys. I want you to listen to my story here, okay? I have been married now for almost 10 years. My story toward marriage, while it was not a YouTube type of thing, it was challenging enough, okay, just to get started. But I've been married almost 10 years now, and I'm not just saying I've been married. I have been married to one of the world's most beautiful women. I have been married to me, one of the best women that I know or I have ever met. And it happened in the most unlikely of ways. And yes, I heard the critics, and I'll tell you about all of that eventually. But anyway, let me try to see if I can really speed up this video and get to the point of what I'm trying to get to. Or at least tell you my story in a quick nutshell. I'm minding my business. I'm a single father raising a few children. My first marriage fell apart, divorce. Minding my own business, living in New York City. Out of the clear blue, a friend of mine that we started a Facebook page with encouraged me, of course, to start a Facebook page. He said he was going to work behind the scenes in terms of just working behind the scenes, and I will be the one to put the content out there. I'll be the face of this Facebook page. So while I'm on there, it was a page that was supposed to be about the Caribbean, more or less, you know, Caribbean. And by the way, I am from the U.S. Virgin Islands. So Wodemaya and Miss Trudy, I would love you guys to come there someday, okay? Anyway, so I am there minding my own business, like I said. So one day I put up a topic about Guyana. I just happened to put up a topic about Guyana. And I was poking fun at the Guyanese. Because every Saturday I would put up something just to poke fun at some Caribbean island, right? Just friendly gesturing. So I go putting up some joke about Guyana and talking about how I will never visit Guyana because I don't want to go down there. They have too much creatures looking to kill everybody. This person comes out of nowhere and she starts defending her country. Didn't know the person, just started defending her country. Saw her, so we went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She said, you should come to Guyana. It's not the way that you think it is. Anyway, that died out. Didn't really know much about who the person was. Went about, you know, didn't think much of the person. Eventually, my friend put up a video. And he doesn't put anything up on Facebook, so he put a video up because he had permissions. He was, you know, he was one of the administrators. And I'm like, where did that video come from? So I look up and I realized, I said, hey, did you put that video up? He said, yes. But in the video, there was a young lady who was giving an interview. I saw her, didn't think much of it. So I called him up and I said, hey, what's that video all about? He said, it's a friend of mine in Guyana. I said, Guyana? I said, you're from Jamaica. Guyana, you have friends in Guyana? He said, yeah. So it's a friend of mine. And she was, you know, she wanted me to put the video up because of something about keeping Guyana clean. So I saw her. And I did not make the connection that the person I saw in the video was also the same person I was going back and forth with about Guyana. Okay, fast forward now. I saw the video, didn't think much of it, you know. She was pretty, but I didn't really think much of it. So then, the next thing I know, my friend reaches out to me and he says to me, hey, listen, I'm from Jamaica. You're from the Virgin Islands. My friend in Guyana wants to know which island she should go to. She's asking my recommendation, St. Martin or Antigua. Since you're from that side of the Caribbean, you might be able to help her out. So I'm like, okay. So all of a sudden, I get an email. Okay, which place do you think I should go? And I'm like, well, she said, my Jamaican friend said, listen, whatever, to reach out to you. So I said, yeah, what island do you think I should go to? And I'm like, well, you know, I would go to St. Martin. And I was a little bit more biased towards St. Martin because that's where my stepfather is from. She chose Antigua. Anyway, she goes to Antigua and she ends up getting stuck over there. Something with Caribbean Airlines or something happened and she ended up getting stuck. Fortunately for my job, I had a lot of flexibility, you know. I wasn't working in an office, you know, a set office. Since I was an IT technician for FedEx, I was all up and down New York City. So I had a lot of free time. So, of course, once I realized she was stuck, I started reaching out to her, you know, and just like, hey, is everything okay? You know, what's going on over there? When is your flight? And we ended up talking and talking and talking and talking. And before you know it, we just kept talking. And I started to find her interesting. And I guess she found me interesting also. And we just kept talking. Anyway, fast forward a few months, we're still talking. And with all the talking going on, I decided, you know what? I wouldn't mind visiting Guyana, the same place I said I was not going to visit, because that's where she was living and I was living all the way in New York City. So we're talking, and we got to a certain point where it was like, hey, can we just take this to another level? Maybe just other than just two strangers talking on the phone. You know, what about it taking it to another level that we can say we're an item, you know? So it was like, yeah, you know. So what I did was I said, you know what? After all the talking we did, I said, I think I'm going to go to Guyana. And I decided to go on down to Guyana in February of 2014. Here I am going to a country I'd never been to, going to an entirely different continent, a place that I said I would never go to. Here I am catching a 2,500-mile flight. I get to Guyana and things hit off just perfectly well. I was like, wow, this was really a great experience, you know? So I came back over, and the thought was, we'll part ways after that. I go to Guyana, we enjoyed ourselves, had a great time together. And, you know, she's thinking that I'm going to come back over here and just get on with my life. You know, it's a very long distance relationship. What in the world are we going to do? It's probably not going to work out. But I came back and I couldn't stop thinking about her. And we kept talking and we kept talking. A few months later, I said, you know what? I am going to go back down there to Guyana. And if what I experienced before is replicated, repeated, that I know it wasn't a fluke when I came down earlier, I think I'm going to go ahead and propose to this woman, you know? It's crazy. I go back down, and guess what? Even better. And when I felt that way, I had everything prepared, and I said, listen, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to reach out to her. And I'm just going to go ahead and propose to her. And sure enough, that's exactly what I did when I went back down there. And so, I want to say about 11 months later, we got married from that time when I proposed to her. Actually, we got married less than that. I think it probably was more like 9 months, because I went down, met her the first time, and then the second time, that's when I proposed. Now, the interesting thing is, when I went to Guyana, the very place where we had our first date was in a botanical garden. We were just getting to kind of like know one another, at least physically, being around each other physically. We had it there. And what was so wild and crazy was the fact that the following year, 9 months later when we got married at that same botanical garden. It was not planned. When we met one another there, we didn't have any idea. No one had any thoughts about marriage, was thinking about marriage, because we were just getting to know one another. Maybe things wouldn't have worked out, you know? And would you believe that 9 to 10 months later, we got married right there in the same spot in that botanical garden. It wasn't even planned out initially, because when we thought about getting married, we were going to get married in her aunt's backyard. Just have a tent outside. That's where we're going to get married. Eventually, the size of the family got a little bigger, and we needed a little bit more space. And then we thought about that same botanical gardens, and that's where we got married. Where we had our first date is where we got married. Anyway, we got married. Now we have the challenge of I'm living in New York. She's living all the way in Guyana. She did not want to come to the United States. It was not on her bucket list. She preferred to go to Europe. But I was living over here. I was still raising my children, basically. Well, you know, still raising them. They were getting up in age, like in, you know, latter high school and everything like that. So it was like I have to bring her all the way over here now, so we have that challenge. But to fast forward, we go through all those challenges, eventually make it over here. But while we were talking, while we were dating, after we got married, the naysayers came out. Because you have to understand something here, where Miss Trudy and Wodemaya and my wife and I have something in common, is that their lives, I shouldn't say their life per se, but a part of their life is played out in front of an audience on YouTube. For my wife and I, we have a big presence on Facebook. I promote my wife. I put pictures up of my wife. I put up statuses about how much I adore my wife. My wife is a great writer. She does the same thing when it comes to me. So people see our public affection out there on social media, especially on Facebook. We don't hide each other. We don't do the whole secret type of thing. You know, yes, we live our private lives, mind you. But in terms of our adoration for one another, we put that out there in the public. People see that, how much we adore and how much we love one another. So you know when you do something like that, it's going to draw you a set of haters. It's going to draw your critics. It's going to draw your doubters. It's going to draw people that admire you also and who would love to see a love like that. You know, that they have someone who just adores them, worships them. They would love to have that. So you do have your admirers, but you have your critics, you have your naysayers, and you have all sorts of people out there talking behind your back. Of course, I don't pay attention to any of them. But just to give you an example, one family member of mine was actually out there more or less implying that my wife is just marrying me just to get her papers to come over here. Keep one thing in mind. She was doing very well for herself over there in Guyana. Middle-class family, working for the Supreme Court, was a former personality in the media. She didn't need to come over here. She didn't need anything from me. But that's what one person was saying. Oh, she's only doing that because. Now, guess what? Just like with Wodemaya and Miss Trudy, they're the ones living the lives. We're just on the outside looking in. We don't know what's going on with them per se. I shouldn't say we don't know what's going on, but we don't know the intricate details of their life. So my cousin did not know the intricate details of what I was feeling, what my wife was feeling, or my fiance at the time was feeling. He was not there to see the dynamics we had. So he just basically saw somebody in another country. Oh, she wants to marry you because she wants to get her green card. She didn't need that. But I heard that. And I'm sure he was not the only person thinking that. That's one. Two, you had other people out there, and this happened one time, and it was just so horrible. When my wife eventually went and got her citizenship, when she got her citizenship, I took a picture of her getting, when she had her certificate of naturalization. Would you believe that some of her classmates got together on WhatsApp, had a whole WhatsApp chat, her former classmates from way back when, still like little children, actually created a WhatsApp, well, not created, they were on this WhatsApp chat. My wife was not on there. These are her high school schoolmates. They sat on there and they criticized her. They called her names. They joked about her. They joked about me. They're talking about how I have so much, whatever they were saying. And anyone who knows my wife, those of you looking in, you do know that my wife is physically attractive. Very attractive. Ironically, the people who are criticizing her, much should be desired there. Understand? Like none of them even hold a candle to her, at least none of the females, in terms of looks. I am not lying when I say this. I wish I had a picture to show you guys. She is physically attractive from head to toe. But she's also a wonderful woman. So they were going around and making all these comments about her and everything like that. That's two. Then we had other people who you hear the chattering here and there. Oh, look at them. They think they're perfect, and they think, no, we're not perfect. Just like Miss Trudy and Wodemaya say, we're not perfect. But again, I don't know if you're going to be sane to walk out here and say, hey, let me do a video. Me and my wife just had an argument. Let me tell you what happened. People don't do stuff like that. I'm not going to take a video of me crawling out of bed with matter in my eye, my nose running, and, no, you're going to fix up yourself and go look a certain way. You go out to dinner or whatever, you might take some pictures, you might do a little video. People see the best of what's going on. It doesn't mean you don't have problems. It doesn't mean you don't have issues. But then when people look in, so for example, when we're on Facebook, which is where our biggest presence is, when we're there, people look on just like they always do. Oh, well, his wife didn't like this photo that he put up that he tagged her in, or I noticed she's not on Facebook. My wife does that. She goes on these sabbaticals where she's not on Facebook for quite some time, like she's doing right now. And one of the reasons she's doing that is because she's upstairs right now watching these Chinese movies. Her sister came from Ghana and got her into them, and that's all she watches. She don't have any time for social media anymore, basically. But people see stuff like that. Aha, something must be going on. She's not on Facebook like she used to be. Oh, their marriage is this. And, so I know there are people out there just like, yeah, they're always trying to make themselves look like they're so in love, that they're so perfect, which we're not trying to do. But there are people who think stuff like that. And because they think stuff like that, sure enough, they're waiting for you to fall on your face. They're waiting to hear the news of divorce. 10 years in, 11 years knowing one another, 11 and a half years knowing one another, we're still going strong. We have a little boy upstairs right now, a little handsome little boy. And we're still going strong. So yes, again, we're not at any level like Wodemaya and Miss Trudy. You understand? But even though we're not, we're out there on social media. People know who we are. People see us. And we've heard the chatter here and there. There's some people who wish we'll just fall apart. We have a lot of admirers. We have a lot of supporters, but there are people who would like to see us fall apart, like to see something happen to us. But that's not even in the cards. And this does not mean we're perfect. I get on my wife's nerves. She gets on my nerves sometimes. I'm sure I'm getting on hers more often than others. She's gotten mad at me. She's had to yell at me a couple of times. We've gone through all those type of things. Doesn't mean we're perfect. But in terms of our overall marriage, we have such a fantastic foundation. We get along so well, and I love her with all of my heart. And don't talk about her. And yes, I heard comments made about Miss Trudy looks like she loves Wodemaya more than he loves her. Generally, that's what you're going to see. My wife has sometimes made it, I think I love you more than you love me. Because we're guys. My wife is really affectionate. Every chance she gets, her hands are all over me, hugging me, kissing me, all those types of things. She's more inclined to initiate that than I am as a man. Me, as a typical man, I'm just like trying to get things done, Like a lot of times when my wife comes to do that, I'm doing something. I'm trying to wash the dishes. I'm trying to mop the floor, and she will come and she will hug me and everything. Just out of the clear blue. Come and give me a kiss. Come and whisper in my ears. Come and tell me how much she just loves me and she can't see her life without me. She does that more often than I do, but does that mean I don't love my wife also? Man, I'm madly in love with that woman. Madly in love with that woman. I adore her. Sometimes, like I told her before, I don't even know how to describe her anymore. I've just lost words. So forgive me if I'm literally at a loss of words sometimes on how to describe my wife and what I want to say to her. Like I fumble over my words. I don't know what to even say anymore. That's how much she means to me. That's how she's, like I can describe her and then yet I can't describe her. She is gorgeous. And she has such a good heart. And she means so much and she's so generous. And all her life is always focused on just me and our son. She's always thinking about things to do for me. Don't let her get started when it comes to my birthday. Don't get her started when it comes to Father's Day. Don't get her started when it comes to the anniversary. And don't get her to start when it's just like out of the random clear blue she goes and she does something. But for Miss Trudy and Wodemaya, just like us, people looking in don't know what's going on. They may see you living a good life, or they may see you doing well, or they may see you happy. And there's some very miserable people out there who will have every negative things to say about you. Do you think I'm going to look at Wodemaya and Miss Trudy and think that they're perfect? Of course not. I'm sure he gets on her nerves, and whatever, And I have a confession to make. When it came to Wodemaya coming down to the Caribbean, I go in there and I poke fun at him. Wodemaya, you better watch out, You hope you make it back to Ghana. I'm joking around with him and everything like that. Joking around with him because we do have beautiful women. We do have women out there, especially around the carnival time and everything. Sure, you can be looking on and your eyes going to be spinning around in your head. But I believe the man is a man of discipline. And I believe he knows his wife is back wherever she is and she knows wherever he is. And he's down there. And a good time doesn't mean he's out there having to do anything. It could just be spectating, just looking. Doesn't have to lead to anything whatsoever. And he knows he has his wife back home. And that's where his heart and his mind most likely is. So I would say to those critics and those naysayers, don't go in there and try to pull these people down. Encourage them. You know, their marriage, just like Miss Trudy said, which is very true, something I told my wife. Sometimes you don't have any examples. You're just playing it by ear and just trying to do the right things. And from Wodemaya and for Miss Trudy, the one thing you guys want to do is just to have patience with each other as you go through the process. My wife is the impatient one. I'm far, far more patient than my wife. But you know, over the 10 years, my wife has just become more patient, even with me. Just become more and more patient. You know, try to think things through before just like getting upset about something. And she's doing that because she loves me. And she wants to make sure our marriage continues to work. I am here. When I leave this house, just like Wodemaya does, I go out there, I work in a place with a bunch of women. I don't get myself involved in all of that. Because a lot of times when I look at them, I look around and realize that what they have, my wife has more than that. So I'm not even going to go pursue that because I know what I have. I'm sure Wodemaya knows what he has also. So my advice to them will be, especially to Miss Trudy, like I think I saw someone say, just don't do any interviews with anyone prying into your business about your marriage, unless you want to go ahead and do it. Don't go out there, don't put stuff out there, because any little thing you say, people are going to take that and read so much into it. If you say, yeah, our marriage is not perfect, aha, you see, I told you they're having problems. Or if you say, yeah, I miss Wodemaya when he goes, or he's traveling by himself and I'm home, or whatever, I wish to be with him, aha, you see, he doesn't want her with her anymore. They'll go and read a whole lot of stuff into stuff, you know? So don't get caught up with all of that foolishness with these people. Just live your life the best way. And who knows? We know life is not perfect. Life is not guaranteed. There may come a day that maybe divorce could be an option. Heaven forbid, mind you. That's still your business. And you do it for whatever reasons you feel you may have. I don't ever want to hear that from either one of you guys. I don't want to hear it from myself either. But we know life is dynamic. There's always changes going on. But sure, just like me, I would love to see you guys 50 years into marriage, still loving one another, through the ups, through the downs. And just put certain things in mind. Of course, there's certain lines that can be drawn. Don't cross this line. I'll have patience with you, but just don't cross these particular lines. And just go with it from there. There will always be temptations, yes. You know. But the way I look at it is, for me, I always look at it like, just don't even think about messing with it. Just stay far away from it. Just don't even engage in anything like that. Just always focus on what you have and what you stand to lose. And if you keep looking at it that way, just avoid a whole lot of pitfalls that you just don't need to get yourself involved in. Both of you are celebrities. And it comes to the territory that people are going to criticize and say a whole lot of nonsense when they're ready. Try your best not to go ahead and pay attention to that stuff. It's your life. It's both of your lives together. Not this audience out here who don't know what the hell they're talking about. And half of these people being miserable themselves. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. Again, my challenge was a long-distance relationship. That people were like, as a matter of fact, I forgot to tell you about just the fact that it was a long-distance relationship. My wife, at the time, my fiance, had to hear, oh, you know, that man over there probably has his women and this and that and whatever. I didn't have anybody. But they were telling her that, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. Oh, my goodness, she's leaving Guyana and going to follow a man over there into the United States. Oh, she's so crazy. What the hell is she doing? I'm not recommending people go ahead and do that, mind you, you know. But I just know I did not want to go hurting anybody and leading anybody on. Why would I waste my time doing that when I could have just stayed in New York City or wherever I was and find women or whatever, instead of wasting someone's time 2,500 miles away? Made no sense whatsoever. Over here, I was saying, oh, you better be careful. She's trying to get her green card. Oh, she has her man them over there, and you just over here thinking that you're all in love. She has her boyfriends and everything coming over while you're away. Would you believe none of those things happen? I didn't have anybody over here. She didn't have anybody over there. And there were people who could vouch for us, or to stand up and say, yeah, I know that to be true. We weren't trying to prove anything to anybody, but just to give a fact. But again, those were naysayers saying stuff like that. Of course, there's some people who were concerned because you could understand, like, oh, this 2,500 miles, he's way over there, you're way over here, okay, So I could understand. So I did have some patience with people making those comments because I could see how that could go for a lot of people. But for us, we avoided those pitfalls. We just stayed focused on one another. We got through the long distance, came over here, got through the adjustment of living with one another. And now, we're like in cruise control. Wodemaya and Miss Trudy, you guys can make it. I wish you guys the best. Miss Trudy, don't stress yourself out with these people out here, okay? Just continue doing your content. Just have us keep watching your content. I would advise you to stay off the circuits dealing with your marriage. You guys just deal with that behind the scenes. Unless you can deal with the pressure of putting it out there and just not giving, a shit what people think. Okay? All right, that's what I want to say. For all of you who watched this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I got to get back to this channel at some point. But I just want to address you guys, okay? Miss Trudy and Wodemaya. All the best to you guys, okay? Much success in marriage, in life, and in your endeavors with your channels, all right? You guys take care. Till next time I do another video, all right? Some way I'll get around to Miss Trudy and Wodemaya once, at some point in time. Hopefully I can get some information from you guys so I can send you guys some things behind the scenes. All right? So this is one of your biggest fans, one of your long-running fans. So I just mean you guys well and just want to see success for both of you, okay? You guys take care. Bye-bye.